Hello guys, welcome back to today's lesson. Today we have here Rachelle Bezuidenhout, Juffrou Rachelle Bezuidenhout from Hoërskool Rustenburg, and our third learner is missing, but it's Marlieke here. And we're going to do parts of speech today and enjoy it.
Hi guys, let me quickly share my screen with you so that you can see the PowerPoint. Okay, can you see? Okay, good. Slideshow. Okay, people say there are 8 parts of speech, plus articles, which we will discuss at length during the lesson. The 8 parts of speech are adjectives, conjunctions, nouns, pronouns, adverbs, interjections, prepositions, and verbs. Now, who can tell me what a noun is? Lila, do you know what a noun is?
Ma'am, a noun is a person, a place, a thing, a feeling. Mostly anything you can think of is a noun, an object. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, there are 4 types of nouns. Nouns are things and people and places and collections of things, places, people, and emotions. Okay. Dube, what's a verb?
Ma'am, a verb is an action word. It's mostly an action word.
Yes, something that you do, hey. And when you have nouns and verbs, those are the 2 most basic parts of speech. Okay. So all the other parts of speech are identified in relation to nouns and verbs. You'll see what I mean just now. Now, what are adjectives? Adjectives are words that describe nouns. Okay. Adverbs are words that describe verbs. Okay. So the word sorry, that's my little girl. Adjectives are words that you add to nouns, and adverbs are words that you add to verbs to describe them. Okay. You won't get confused between those 2. Now, pronouns. Obviously, people get confused between adjectives and pronouns. Pronouns go in the place of nouns. Okay. Conjunctions join sentences together. Interjections are words that you shout out for emotion. They don't have any real meaning. Prepositions show you where one word is in relation to another. Okay. Now let's have a look at the different parts of speech. If the parts of speech were a sports team, any sport, soccer, rugby, netball, hockey, whatever you can think of, then the nouns would be the players. Now there are 4 different nouns, namely common nouns, collective nouns, abstract nouns, and proper nouns. Okay. Who can tell me what common nouns are?
Ma'am, common nouns are any ordinary things, ma'am. Any like objects, basically.
Yes. Yes. Common nouns are things that are common. Things that you see every day, the names of ordinary things like table, whistle, etc. And it's preceded, or it can be preceded by an article, a or an or the. Okay. If anything is or can be preceded by an article, preceded means the article goes before it, then it's a common noun. It's an object. Okay. The cat, the phone, a book, a player. Collective nouns name a collection of things, like a class of students or a team of players. Okay, like a school of fish, a class of students. And they are always singular. The concord is singular. Okay, unless they are fighting. Like, for example, the class are debating the subject, because then you have 2 sides of the class. Okay. Abstract nouns, the names of abstract concepts, qualities, and feelings like the player's intelligence or love. And then proper nouns give names to people, places, books, etc. The players each have an individual name like John, which is a proper noun. Each one is a player, which is a common noun. They form a team, namely a collective noun, and they have talent, which is an abstract noun. Okay, so when you think of the 4 different types of nouns, think of the players in a sports team. Then verbs are doing words or action words. The verbs are actions the players do when playing the game, like run, kick, tackle, etc. Easy enough. Hey. Okay, people, verbs are only difficult because they are sometimes they don't stand alone. Okay, can you say, for example, I going to the mall, Laila? Why not? What must you say there?
No, ma'am. You must. I think you have to add. I am going to the mall. Like a auxiliary verb
Exactly.
and
Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, you have to add an auxiliary sometimes to form a complete verb. Hey, and that auxiliary forms part of the verb. So if they ask you in a sentence to identify the verb, you add the auxiliary verb to that. Okay. You say, I am going. Then am going is the verb. Or if the sentence is, for example, I am hungry. What is the verb then?
Ma'am, is it am hungry or is it
Am,
just
not hungry. Hungry is not the part of the verb. Am is the verb. The verb to be is also an action or a doing. Just existing, you are doing something. And a sentence is never complete when it doesn't have a verb. Okay, so that's the only thing that I think you find difficult with verbs is to remember that the verb to be is also a verb. And any form of to be is, am, are, was, were. They are all verbs. Okay. Then pronouns. What are pronouns? What happens when one player in a team is injured? Do they just play with fewer players or what do they do?
No, ma'am, they add reserves.
They add reserves. Now the pronouns are the words that are like the reserves. They are the ones that stand in. They stand in the place of nouns. He, she, it, they. Instead of saying, Dube, please put Dube's homework on Dube's table, I will say, Dube, please put your homework on your table. And then your is a pronoun. Hey, it goes in the place of a noun. Specifically, usually a proper noun, but not always. Okay. There are different kinds of pronouns like personal pronouns, possessive pronouns, but for the purposes of your matric exam, you do not need to know them. If you can just identify that a word is a pronoun, that is completely sufficient. You do not have to identify which type of pronoun. Then, adjectives. We already said adjectives are words that describe nouns. They are like the spectators in a game. They describe the players. For example, that wonderful man just scored a goal. Do you think spectators often speak like that?
yes, ma'am.
Or that stupid idiot doesn't know how to kick. That's more like the spectators, hey? Words that describe nouns. Or that useless idiot can't kick. Words that are usually other types of words like nouns can also serve as adjectives. Now, people, that's important. A word isn't necessarily always a noun or always an adjective or always a verb. You have to go and look at the function that it performs in the sentence. Okay. What is the function of this word in the sentence? For example, in the word school bus, school is not a noun. Okay, it is an adjective because it describes the word bus. It's not a compound because it's not one word. So you have to go and look at the function of the word. Like the word walk, for example. If you just hear the word walk, you would think that it's a verb. Yes, it's something that you do. But you can also say the walk to school. Then it's a noun. Hey, it's something that you can put the in front of. Okay. Adverbs are words that describe verbs. They are like the commentator describing the game. For example, excellent kicking today. There are different types of adverbs. Adverbs of manner, place, and time. Now, people, when we ask you in your paper 1 to identify the type of word, we are not looking for you to say what type of adverb it is, but in your creative writing, you have to know the order of adverbs. Okay. MPT is alphabetical. First the M in the alphabet, then the P, and then the T. So first manner, then place, then time. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying by that? An adverb of manner is how you do something. An adverb of place is where you do something. And an adverb of time is when you do something. In a sentence, the adverb of manner will come first, then place, then time. She happily and frequently goes to the mall. I do my homework excellently in my room every day. Okay, it's for your creative writing so that you know which one comes first. In an exam, you just need to know it's an adverb, not the type of adverb. Is that clear, guys? Okay, good. Then the other words, conjunctions. What is a conjunction, Laila?
Ma'am, a conjunction is a word or a phrase that is used to join two sentences or yeah, or two words or anything like that.
Yes, two phrases, two clauses, two sentences. Hey, conjunctions join words, phrases, or clauses. They are like the ball in a game that joins the two teams together. Okay. There's one thing that joins both the teams together. It's not a player, it's not the referee, it's the ball. Hey, he runs very fast, although his knee is hurt. She runs to the pole and shoots a goal. Okay. Prepositions show the position of one thing in relation to another. They are like the positions in which the players play. He runs behind her. She kicks the ball over the fence. And then the last one, which is not included usually in parts of speech. It's parts of speech they usually say is like a spider because there are 8 parts of speech. Okay? But then that spider has a little tail at the end for the article because it's such a short little word and there are only 3 of them, namely a, an, and the. When do you use a and when do you use an? Does anyone know? Dube, do you know when to use a and when to use an?
Ma'am, I think in a practical example, I think I know, but I can't really explain it.
Okay, can you give me, if I say, for example, would I say a apple or an apple?
A apple.
No, you would say an apple because when the word starts with a vowel, you know the vowels, A, E, I, O, U,
Yes,
then
ma'am.
they start with an because it makes it easier to say an apple. But it's easier to when the word starts with a consonant, like C, a cat. It's easier to say a. It's more difficult to say an cat. Okay, an apple, an umbrella. Okay.
Ma'am, I think you can use and I is for usually for the consonants if it starts with the consonants, but and you can use it too when the word sounds like a vowel, when you say it and then like hour or something like that.
Yes, hour. How do you spell hour? H-O-U-R. It starts with an H, but it's pronounced with an O. The H is silent. An hour. Okay, so therefore we use an. University sounds like it starts with a Y, with a consonant, so therefore it's a university. Then interjections, words that show emotion but don't really have any meaning. Wow, oh, ouch, words like that. And they are usually followed by an exclamation mark. Okay, now let's do the following poem together. Vegetarians are cruel, unthinking people. What is the word are in this sentence? A verb, yes. Everybody knows that carrots scream when they are grated. What would the word carrots be in this sentence?
Noun.
A
Now,
noun, yes. That a peach bleeds when torn apart. What is a, Dube?
it's an article, ma'am.
It's an article, good. And apart? Does anyone know what apart? Yes, because it describes torn. Hey, torn is a verb and apart is an adverb thing. Do you believe an orange insensitive? What would insensitive be?
Ma'am, would that be
Noun.
an abstract noun?
It can be an abstract noun, yes. But in this case, I think it's an adjective because it describes the orange. Okay.
Okay.
Your insensitivity hurts me. Then it's definitely an abstract noun. Okay. But in this case, it's used as an adjective because it describes orange. Two thumbs gouging out its flesh. What is gouging?
A verb.
Verb.
It's
I think it's an article. It,
no, there are only two.
yeah, two, yeah. It's
Yes?
Would we classify that? No,
Two
I'm
thumbs
not sure.
gouging out an orange's flesh. So it's in the place of an orange. Hey, so it's a
Pronoun.
pronoun, yes. The tomatoes spill their brains painlessly. What is that?
pronoun.
A pronoun. Potatoes skinned alive. What is skinned?
Verb.
A verb. Yes, your skin would usually be a noun, but in this case it's used as a verb. Hey, and boiled the soil's little lobsters. What is little?
Adjective.
Adjective.
Yes, describes lobsters. Hey, don't tell me it doesn't hurt. What is hurt in this case?
Ma'am, I think
Ma'am?
that would be an abstract noun. Hurt. It doesn't hurt. No.
No, I think
Is it
in
a
this
verb?
case it's a verb. Yes. When peas are ripped from their overcoats, the hide flayed off sprouts. What is off in this case?
A preposition.
Exactly. The hide flayed off sprouts. Sprouts, cabbage, shredded onions, beheaded, throw in the towel and lay down the hoe. What is a hoe?
Is
It's
it a
preceded,
noun?
it's preceded by the, so it's a noun. You know that
Oh.
even if you don't know the word, a hoe is like that implement that they use to dig in a garden. Okay. Let's quickly just have a look at questions. Questions, you keep the question in the same tense. When there's an auxiliary verb, start the question with it. When there's no auxiliary, you start the question with who, does, and did. Okay. Turn the following statements into questions. I will see you next week. Who can turn that into a question for me?
Will I see you next week?
Exactly. You start with the auxiliary. Will I see you next week? She ate all the food in the fridge, Dube?
Did she eat? Wait,
Did she eat all the food in the fridge? Why isn't it does she eat all the food in the fridge? Because you have to keep the tense the same, hey? And it's in the past tense. We never go out to the movies anymore. Laila?
Do we never go out to the movies anymore?
Okay. This one is quite difficult because never is the negative of ever. Hey, so it would be, do we ever go out to the movies anymore, or do we never go out to the movies anymore? Because you have to change the sentence as is. So mostly either one will be marked correctly. Okay. 4, she's standing in my way.
Is she standing in my way?
Exactly. Okay, the language negatives, you just add a not. Ensure your tense and concord are correct. Let's turn the following into negatives. I do push, number 1, she is the most beautiful girl in the world.
She is not the most beautiful girl in the world.
She's not the most beautiful girl in the world. Why isn't it she's the ugliest girl in the world?
Because, Mom, you can't change the words that are given the sentence.
Yes, you mustn't change it into the opposite. You must change it into the negative. There's a difference, eh? I do push-ups every day. Do we?
I don't do push-ups every day.
I don't do push-ups every day. You can't say I don't push-ups every day because then it doesn't make sense, eh? Number 3, they will always be friends, Layla.
Ma'am, with that, can you say they will never be friends, or do you say that they will?
No, because then you're changing it into the opposite.
Okay.
Okay.
They will not always be
Yes,
friends.
they will not always, or won't is short for will not. Hey, so will not or won't always be friends. Oh, my brother sang the national anthem, do they?
My brother did not. My brother did not sing the national anthem.
Yes, perfect. My brother did not sing or didn't sing the national anthem. Then lastly, let's quickly have a look at question tags. A positive sentence gets a negative tag. A negative sentence gets a positive tag. For example, he doesn't eat meat, does he? Or we will not buy a dog, will we? Now, people, a negative sentence means there's a not in it, a not or a never. It doesn't mean you mean it negatively. Like, I hate you is a positive sentence. I do not hate you is a negative sentence. Okay. The words negative and positive has to do with the whether there's a not in the sentence or not with whether it enforces a negative vibe or whatever. Okay. So let's do number 1. We never play outside.
Don't we?
Yeah.
Do we? Because never is short for not ever. Okay, so never is a negative. We never play outside. Do we? She brings flowers every day.
Doesn't she?
Doesn't she? Good. She hates music.
Does she?
Doesn't she? Because even
Does she?
the sentence sounds negative because it's hate. Hate is a negative word. We are talking about a positive sentence because there's no not. She hates music, doesn't she? Number 4, we won't fall off this bridge.
Will we?
Will we? Okay, good guys. That's the end of our lesson today. Thank you for participating and thank you for everything that you answered correctly.